Do you know anything about the Conjuring House and anything recently?
I know a lot about the Conjuring House.
State your name and who you are to me.
Samantha Hawes, and I am your oldest sister.
My name is Haley Hawes, and I'm your older sister, second out of the six of us.
I am Connor Hawes. I am your brother.
My name's Logan Hawes, and I am your twin brother.
I am Satori Hawes, and I am your youngest older sister.
My name is Jason Hawes, and questionably, I am your father.
Okay, this is going to be a good start.
Yep.
I know a lot of people have asked you this question. A lot of people probably still want to know what made you want to explore the paranormal many years ago when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Oh man, yeah, this is gonna be fun. So I had my own personal experience back when I was about 19, 20 years old, which sort of took me from a place where I never really thought about the paranormal and thrusted me into wanting to understand how these things were possible. And upon looking at what was out there, there was a lot of garbage. There was a lot of things that didn't make sense to me, and I wanted to search out those answers for myself, figuring hands-on experience would be better than what I could learn from a book.
What was the first thing that you've seen? Do you remember?
I saw what I can only describe as a full-body apparition at the time, and it didn't make any sense to me how it was possible.
What made you want to explore the paranormal?
I think when you're born into it, there's like this automatic, like, what is this? I want to be part of it. Like, I'm witnessing it all the time. There's just unlimited exposure. And then you kind of make the choice, like, do I want to venture into that? Is it something I've been overexposed to? And for me personally, it was something that I wanted to dive into a little bit more. I wanted to explore for myself, come up with my own ideas, my own feelings, my own overall, skepticism, but wanting to drive and figure out the answers. So here we are.
I think when we were younger, me and Sam, we actually would go with Dad to the Starbucks when he would hold the initial TAPS meetings, and we grew an interest from there. So we were raised around the paranormal, and we just grew with it.
Our family has always been in that field. Our father started his journey in the field over 20 years ago. So it's like a family journey, and we've always been there to witness it.
Yeah.
A lot of curiosity. I'm definitely intrigued by the paranormal field. There's a lot of unknown with it, which is definitely catching my own eye and just catching many others' eye. And yeah, overall, I'm just very interested in exploring it.
Many reasons. The first one being who our dad is, Jason Hawes, founder of TAP. So obviously, Dad's been investigating the paranormal since I was very, very little. Before I was even born, he was already investigating on teams. So growing up, watching him investigate and travel the world and try to find proof of paranormal or debunk paranormal, I wanted to be like that when I grew up. So that was the first reason. Definitely just an overall interest as well. I saw that there was a whole side of the paranormal revolving around haunted objects, spiritual communication, all these things. So I kind of threw myself in and just went with the ride. And that's how I got involved in it. That was where my interest lied.
If you could go anywhere in the world and investigate with anybody in the world, who would it be and where?
I would go to the Colosseum in Rome.
That's a good one.
I would love to check that place out just because of the history behind it and the things that happened. Everybody sits there and talks about how these gladiators they lived to fight. And whether that might be true in some cases, but the majority of the people who died there died horrible deaths and were terrified at the end. So I can imagine the amount of energy that must be trapped within stones that make up the Colosseum. And who would I do it with? I think honestly, I would take the family because the family you guys have all grown up paranormal. You've grown up in a household where the paranormal was the norm. And just to be able to get out there and experience something like that with you all it it would definitely be on my bucket list.
You know, the Colosseum would be good. Probably very active with thousands of years of
Yeah.
that energy just trapped in the stone.
And a lot of people don't even
Just-
realize that they used to flood that thing and do recreations of sea battles and things like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, just the things that happened there were amazing, astonishing, and horrific all at the same time.
It's crazy. They didn't even have like technology like we do back then, but like just crazy how they made it all work.
I mean, the Romans were very advanced.
Very advanced.
They figured out how to get they were the initial creators of plumbing and stuff, if you think about it. And because they designed the whole thing to make sure that human waste left the area, so because they knew that people would get sick, just their advancement in redirecting water, and I mean, it's amazing. But also, you look at a lot of the history, and it was horrific for the time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If I could go anywhere in the world and investigate with anyone in the world, I don't think I have like a top paranormal person that I would want to be with. Obviously, I think like being with family would be pretty awesome, but somewhere that I've always wanted to go, whether paranormal investigating or not, hands down, Egypt. It's my die-hard, like that's where I want to be. I would love to really just get into grave sites, pyramids, catacombs, all of that. I feel like that would be a really cool experience overall, just like historically speaking. It's something that's always fascinated me. And then there's like a paranormal aspect. But also, I've never been to Alcatraz. That's something that's on like a bucket list, like United States bucket list, something that's very reachable, somewhere I could probably get over the next few years. So that's like a short-term goal.
I'm not one of those people that get all uppity about celebrities, to be honest with you. I mean, I've met so many down the line. I don't have somebody that I would choose to go with. Honestly, I would love to go overseas anywhere, Scotland, England, the old countries that you can go and see all these historic properties, castles, and just the history over there alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some like old Scottish castle, like Irish castle would be pretty cool.
If I could go anywhere and investigate anywhere, I'd most likely choose Alcatraz.
That's a good one.
Just because the history, and I would take our dad, you, and our other brother.
That'd be fun. Would love to do that.
I would say the French catacombs in Paris. A lot of history there. I'm a huge history buff myself, and just the idea of all the burial sites. I would say the possible 6 million people that are resided in the French catacombs. It's definitely interesting and intriguing, and I would want to explore that. And if I wanted to explore it with a specific person or group of people, I would definitely want to explore it with you, Dad, the whole family. It would be a blast, and we can learn a lot.
With anyone,
Yes.
definitely not you.
Okay.
I would definitely want to go to like England, I think, and investigate like the Tudor era castles because they're claimed to be super haunted. I want to go and try to figure out like old royal mysteries in different castles in different countries. I think that would be really cool. Who to investigate with? Does it have to be somebody that's like living in the field, or like it just is
It could be
theoretical?
anybody.
You're not giving me a lot of detail.
Hey, anyone.
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 I don't know. Definitely not you. That's my answer. That's all I know for certain.
Well, that's a good enough answer.
Okay, all right.
Not the one I wanted, but.
It's the best one you're gonna get.
Wow, okay. Why do you like me more than the rest of the siblings?
Actually, I dislike you all equally when it comes down to it.
But you like me a little bit more.
No, I dislike you all equally.
Just not like a little bit. Is it because the Are you still upset about that?
And there's a lot more than the No, when it comes down to it, I don't have a favorite. I mean, you're all unique in your own ways. You have Logan, who's highly intelligent and focuses on details. You have you. Then you have your brother, your brother Connor. You have your sisters. I love you all. You're all my favorites. You know what? I've been blessed. I really have. I've got 6 amazing children.
Mm-hmm. I get it from mom. Why do mom and dad like me more?
Why do mom and dad like you more?
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a moment when you were born where they were like, he looks a lot like Samantha.
Is that why they tried to get rid of me?
They already had me.
I know, that's why they had another kid.
To get rid of you?
No, to like improve on their last.
You're not an improvement.
I would think so.
You're not. You can think whatever you want, but it's not true.
This question is pretty simple. You don't have to go full into detail, but why do mom and dad like me more than you?
I don't know. They just kept having kids until they found one they liked, which means Logan's the favorite.
We were together.
But
I think
were
I was
you?
the favorite. All right, this one's probably pretty simple for you. Why do mom and dad like me more than you? Wow, there's just that many. You just can't think of it.
I don't know how to answer that. I don't know what to say there.
All right. Why do mom and dad like me more than you?
I would definitely debate that with you for the whole day. And yeah, I think you might be a little bit wrong. Hopefully, it's quite even more than not. But yeah, that's definitely up for debate.
I'm not wrong.
Okay.
I'm never wrong. Why do mom and dad like me more than you?
They don't. And if you have to go around saying that you're the favorite so much, that's kind of proof that you're not. We both know who the favorite is.
Sam.
Sam. No, me. It's obviously me. It's obviously me. But they like you. We all like you because you're funny, I think. You're kind of annoying, but you're funny.
I really don't think you're even like a top 5 siblings.
There's only like 6 of us.
Exactly.
No, I'm definitely up there. They don't tell you, obviously, because they'd feel bad if you knew. But there are times they pull me aside and be like, we just want you to know
We're
you're
just going to talk
definitely
about
the
this after the
favorite.
cameras turn off.
Okay.
I know you've been to thousands of places in your life to investigate. Some place you didn't even investigate, but what is the place that you would go back to? Like, what's your favorite place you've investigated?
Well, some of my favorite locations just on the show have been places like Waverly Hills in Louisville, Kentucky. You had 60 plus thousand people die of tuberculosis. St. Augustine Lighthouse, one of the best pieces of evidence we've ever captured. Gettysburg, just to get out there, the battlefield where you got to remember you had 120,000 some odd people fighting each other, 30,000 casualties, and another 40, 50,000 people who were permanently injured due to the battle. I mean, any place like that you'd think holds a much higher chance of having paranormal activity because of all that chaos and tragedy that went into it. But yeah, my favorite place is definitely Waverly Hills, St. Augustine Lighthouse, the Stanley Hotel, just a lot of phenomenal locations. Off the show, we investigate a lot of places that fall under confidentiality agreements because a lot of people have problems and they don't want cameras there. So we go in and we investigate for everybody from stay-at-home moms to senators and congressmen. And you know, those are very interesting locations as well. But there's a whole side of TAPS that people did not see on television.
Yeah, there's a lot of TAPS members and stuff.
There's 70 something bases in the United States and 15 other countries. So the TAPS family is huge.
It is. It's one big family. Where was your favorite place you've ever investigated?
My favorite place I've ever investigated.
I know you've been on a lot of episodes of Ghost Hunters.
I have in investigations outside of Ghost Hunters. I guess I'll answer this in two ways. My favorite place that I've ever investigated outside of ghost hunters would have been the Westerly Public Library. I had experiences there that led us to actually going with the ghost hunters crew and investigating. Sadly, didn't have the same experiences when we went through that investigation, but that just goes to show you that, we're only in a spot for so long. So we can never have the same experiences twice, most likely. And we see the same thing on television, right? Like people say things happen and then we didn't experience them there, but we're not saying that they didn't. But I had wonderful experiences at the Westerly Public Library here in Rhode Island. Outside of that, I would say my top place on Ghost Hunters show would have been Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. It's a lot. It's overwhelming. It's massive. It's huge. There's so much history there, so much horrific history. So that was one of my, I guess, biggest investigations, which made it memorable. But also, we did a lot of the mills here in Rhode Island, lots of child labor, lots of horrific and tragic events that happened there, and that gave some great evidence. The Cumberland Library here in Rhode Island, when I think of some of my biggest spots, they actually tend to be close to home, which is kind of cool because they're places that I could go again. But those would probably be my top.
All right. People would probably like to know, what was it in the Westerly Library?
So when it comes to the Westerly Library, one of the top things I remember about going into it was I wasn't expecting much. Like there had been some claims of things that had happened. I believe it had actually been like a Civil War hospital one time. I might be incorrect. I might be mixing up places, but I'm about 95% positive. And then there had been instances of like local homeless people passing away within the library and things like that. So there were lots of different angles to come from. We did the shave and a haircut, the dun 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 dun. And like right away, it repeated that to us. Like I was like dun 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 dun, and it answered. And then throughout the night, like it just started to pick up in intensity and talking back and responding back and direct answers. So that was one of the, sometimes you go through investigations and it's like you have one thing that happens and it's really great, it's really eye-opening, it's cool, you want to keep going. But what happened with Westerly Library was it just continued throughout the night, right? Like it didn't stop. There was never really like a dull moment where I didn't feel like there was something there communicating with us. And that's what made it something that sticks with me is I got to spend all night communicating with something there and it wanted to communicate. And that's really pushed me to want to get back there over the years.
Yeah. The craziest shave and a haircut thing I ever had was Dad and I we were investigating on his YouTube at the Paint House in Coventry, and me and JV, we were upstairs and I did that, and all you could hear from the attic was just boom, boom, like instantly right after. So it's pretty cool.
It's an old tune, so I think there's a lot of. It's easy to mimic. It's easier,
like everybody knows it.
Penhurst was actually one of my favorites. It's crazy. You'd walk through it. I know during the live show, it was also snowing and it was freezing. You'd have snow coming down. There's holes in the ceiling. Just the activity there was crazy. But we even got to do it live. So the things we saw and heard.
Yeah. I've always wanted to do a live show. That would have been amazing, but you're lucky.
Yeah. No, it was strange during live because you have to watch everything you say because you're live. Yeah. And I think during that live episode, they even had trackers on us so they could see where each one of us were during the investigation. I was a minor at the point, so I had to still go back to the hotel before midnight because of laws over in LA. There were a lot of laws for child actors at that point. So I had to get shipped back to the hotel before the end of the live episode. But there was still a lot of activity by any means. I mean, before midnight.
I remember years ago, we did a family trip down to Gettysburg, and we did a little tour around the area, learned about the wars and the museums and the battlefields, and that was just like a wonderful experience to be able to learn the history in that.
Yeah.
I'd have to say Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of history there, so.
I would certainly say my favorite place that I have ever been to that had paranormal activity was the Spalding Inn in New Hampshire.
That's a good one.
When we all used to go there as kids, I remember we would sit at the end of the hallway and just watch balls of light go door to door late at night.
Orbs.
Yeah. While no one was there. It was intriguing. It was amazing. That's what definitely was the stepping stone for my interest towards the paranormal. It's something which you look at and you're just beyond, you're starstruck by.
Yeah, that's honestly, I could go everywhere in the world. I think if I could still choose one place, it would be the Spalding every time. Just because, like, growing up, that was like the place that we learned everything, and we just grew up following Dad's footsteps there. Especially when we were young, it was just you, me, Satori. Like we would just sit in a room and just investigate. So,
Favorite place I've ever investigated? Um, Favorite place I ever investigated was in New Jersey, and it's called Sterling Hill Mining Museum. And you walk into this mine, and we've heard residual TNT boom sounds. We've heard footsteps running at us in the dark tunnels, voices. There's things. We saw a floating flame one time going down the tunnel, and us and a group of like 20 people or more saw this. So to actually see activity like that was pretty amazing. So that's definitely one of my favorite. One that I've been involved with for a while, I can't really go back to, but there's another location I really love that I can't really go back to right now. Located in Rhode Island. I love that one, but I can't go there right now. Yeah. I don't think Dad can either.
yeah, I've heard a lot about that New Jersey mine. I would love to go there. And
Yeah,
investigate.
I could probably bring you. I think we have some events that
Let's
we're
do it.
planning. So,
that'd be fun.
yeah.
If you could meet anyone who's a ghost right now, could be thousands of years ago, could be now, who would it be?
That's a tough one because, of course, I would want to talk with somebody that's dated more around my time that could give me some more understanding. Like I would love to be able to communicate with my father or Meatloaf, a very dear friend. And Meatloaf was a huge paranormal buff. So to find out what it's like on the other side would be amazing because he'd be able to explain that to me. If I could communicate with anybody through history, I mean, we can talk about Jesus Christ. We can talk about numerous other individuals who played such a key role throughout the human race that I would love to communicate with and get their take on things and just have an open discussion. That way, I'm not taking what they've said from books. I'm hearing directly from them. So if I could investigate with anybody, of course, we'd fall into that. But I would love to talk with somebody who was dear to my heart, who has passed on, who now could fill me in with more updated views on what goes on the other side.
Anyone in history. I would love anybody who could solve like the unknown, the big questions we have, right? Like, you know, who killed JFK? Like what happened to Marilyn Monroe? Like these are people that I would want to meet and I would want to talk to. And I know sometimes they say like when you pass on, there's these theories that like information like that doesn't pass on with you, right? Like you don't always remember or these spirits don't always know their names. They don't always know who they were. They don't always know their story. So we can't get some of those answers. But anybody who could answer things like that, like who could like give us that little piece of information that we've always wondered, like what happened to these people, I think that would be pretty cool.
I honestly, my favorite part of history is looking at old Scottish history and stuff. I'm obsessed with Mary, Queen of Scots. I love learning about history about that and the Tudor family. So I think going back at that point, learning, obviously, there's some things you want to avoid going back in history at that point, but it'd be interesting.
I think I'd be really interested in meeting a ghost from the early stages of like World War I period to understand the war and how they felt about it and just like the whole aspect of like the pain and the grieving that they were going through.
I would probably choose Nikola Tesla. He was a scientist during the majority 1900s, and he one of the most intelligent people you ever heard of, you would ever meet. He helped lead the way to wireless connections. His fascinations with electricity was beyond that of any other human being at the time. He had visions to have free electricity and endless power to the entire world, which he was not able to get to due to funding and due to his unfortunate death.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories with him as well. When he passed away, it was said that his documents were taken away and they don't know where it went. It was said that he died in a hotel room, and that's where his documents lied, and they all disappeared. And there's a lot of stuff today which we have around us, like electricity, like all the technology switches and things to Nikola Tesla. I know his name is inspired by the company Tesla, and he also led way to the Tesla coils, which is a huge advancement for humanity as well.
So you think there's like a lot that like he could have taught us that just didn't get out because he was killed?
Yes,
I
I think
conspiracy.
I'm a little bit conspiracy theorist with
Yeah, no, I'm
Nikola
with you
Tesla.
on that.
Either historical figures and figure out why they made the choices they did to lead to today, like revolutionary figures and things like that. Or I would love to have talked to somebody with some great mystery like Amelia Earhart and ask, like, what happened? Like, can you give me the final moments? Did you survive that initial crash? Where did you go? I'd love to ask mystery questions like that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people like they think they know what happened, but like they're not 100% sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these people are like, "Oh, this happened." Like you don't know exactly like every single
The internet
detail.
is full of people that think they know everything.
Yep, 100%. In one sentence, can you explain why I'm your favorite son?
Yeah, I had nothing on that one.
There's just that many.
Every single one of you brings something different to the table, and and honestly, every single one of you brings something different to the table. I don't have any favorite children besides Satori. To be honest with you,
All 6? You could have just you chose her. Just kidding.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't have any favorite children. I think each one of you brings something different to the table, to the family, and all of you together create such a unique family that that I'm honored to have that in my life. And I've got a relationship with you guys, you boys, that I was never able to have with my father. And I think that means everything to me. I mean, that we're all so close, we're tight, and we can talk to each other about anything. I mean, the other day when you got your wiener caught in the zipper, I mean, who'd you call? You called Dad. Would have been awkward having Mom try to get it out for you.
It's just that last little zipper. Just
it's tough when something's that small. It gets stuck in a lot of places.
I don't want to cut this out.
Why?
In one sentence, explain why I'm your favorite sibling.
You're not.
I knew you were going to say that. I'm not even kidding. Before this, I read the question. I go, she's going to say you're not.
We're the most alike. I think that's
Sadly.
what it is. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good
People
thing.
are going to watch this and be like, you guys look alike too.
Yeah, you look alike, you act alike, your mannerisms are alike. No, I don't know. I feel like I could just text you at any moment and you're blunt, you're gonna give me the honest answer, but you're a good big little brother. Is what you are.
I'll text on the family chat and I just know you're going to respond with something. In one sentence, can you explain why I'm your favorite sibling?
You're the only one I can tolerate.
Oh, that was actually a good answer. I was expecting you're not.
No, I think honestly, there's a lot of similarities between some of us siblings, and I mean, we all get along. We're siblings. At the end of the day, we were raised for siblings. We all would be there for each other.
All right. In one sentence, explain why I'm your favorite sibling.
You have that underlying goofy charisma, and at times you could say something so unbelievably dumbfounding that it pulls you in no matter how badly you just want to walk away.
so you didn't deny it. So thank you. All right. I know there's just so much that you could say. But like in one sentence, could you explain why I'm your favorite sibling? Wow. Oh my god.
Uh, I have been with you my whole life, and I know the best of you and the worst of you. And yeah, you are. There's competition. That's that's the sentence. There's competition.
All right. I know this sentence is gonna be very long, but in one sentence, can you explain why I'm your favorite sibling?
Oh no, I don't want to make you upset. Um,
Why are you so mean?
no, actually, if I think about it, you are my favorite sibling. You are. Don't
Oh.
tell the other ones that. You are because you are very, I guess for the other reason I mentioned, you're very funny. You're very charismatic. I think how witty you are and how funny you are plays really well with how witty I am. So I think that's why we get along. You're my favorite sibling. You are. But you're mean sometimes too. So that's why I thought about it.
I think if I had to choose, like, you'd probably be the worst.
Really? That's not true.
I'm just kidding. No,
I
that's
know.
not true.
You're giggling this whole time. I'm definitely one of your
Oh, you're
favorite.
definitely one of them.
Yeah, one of them. Who's your favorite sibling? Uno reverse.
Um, I'm just gonna have to say Logan because he's my twin. But you know,
That you don't
I feel like I
have
get
to.
along with other siblings better. But I feel like Logan. Like, if I had to choose one, I'd choose him.
Just tell me the true answer with your eyes.
Uh,
Just look at me and tell me the true answer.
Not you.
Yeah. No, no. We know. We know who it is. You don't have to say anything.
This is probably a question a lot of people are probably gonna want to know. Whatever happened with you and that Conjuring House lady?
Next question.
All right. Uh, do you know anything about the Conjuring House and anything recently?
I know a lot about the Conjuring House and a lot of things recently.
Um, I don't know.
Did you lose control of your interview?
Yeah, I don't have any more Conjuring House questions.
This has been a blast.
Yeah, thank you.
Like usual.